Okay, let's cut through all the noise. Forget the constant panic, forget the headlines screaming about an AI revolution 1 minute and a total crash the next. We're going to get past all that PR spin and talk about what really happens after the hype. Let's get into it.
So this is the big idea we're going to unpack. And it kind of flips the usual story on its head. See, instead of AI being just another tech bubble that's doomed to pop, what if it's the machine that's creating all the bubbles? Not just in the stock market, but in our jobs, maybe even in our own sense of who we are. You've seen all this, right? It's just a constant storm of these words. One day, AI is our savior. The next, it's this overvalued fad that's about to collapse. It's so easy to get lost in all that chaos. And honestly, that's kind of what the big tech marketing departments want. When you're confused, they get to control the story.
Because the real story, the one that actually matters, isn't about the dramatic rise or some spectacular fall. No, it's about what happens when the dust finally settles, when the cameras turn away, and this technology just quietly weaves itself into the fabric of our world. That is the quiet shock.
Yeah, the popular myth, the one that makes for a good movie, is this fiery crash, right? An extinction event for AI. But the reality is, well, it's a lot more subtle. It's not an extinction, it's more of a contraction. The technology deflates from this giant fantasy into its actual useful size. It stops being this shiny new toy and starts becoming quiet, boring, essential infrastructure. And look, we have seen this exact movie before. Remember the dot-com crash? The headlines literally declared the internet dead. But what happened after all the hype faded and the money dried up? The internet just quietly got to work and rebuilt our entire society from the ground up. That is the exact path AI is on right now. The real change doesn't start until after the so-called pop. So, how does this actually play out in the real world? Well, the first major impact is on our jobs and the economy. And surprise, surprise, the reality isn't the story that we've all been sold. For years, the story was always about robots coming for the manual labor jobs, right? But AI isn't doing that. It's targeting the white-collar comfort class first, the very people who thought they were safe. The thinkers, the creatives, the strategists are suddenly finding out their skills might not be quite as unique as their LinkedIn profiles claim.
And this is the part you are never going to hear in a CEO's keynote speech. The corporate spin is always about augmentation and empowering employees. But let's be real. Once the hype dies down and it's all about shareholder value, the question changes. It becomes a pretty brutal calculation of efficiency. This is the hidden motive that's really driving all of this.
This whole economic shift basically creates two new groups in the workforce. You've got the augmented class on one side, the people who use AI to become faster, smarter, more productive. And on the other side, you've got the manual class. And not in the old sense of the word. We're talking about people who keep doing their cognitive work unaugmented, trying to compete with what is essentially cyborg-level productivity. The new gap isn't just about money. It's about who gets to outsource their thinking.
Now, if you zoom out to the big picture, this has some really profound consequences. You could argue AI kind of breaks the basic rules of modern capitalism. I mean, think about it. When knowledge is basically free and thinking labor is dirt cheap and expertise is something you can just download, the whole concept of economic value starts to glitch. What are you even selling that can't be instantly copied by a machine?
And that economic disruption, well, it leads us somewhere much deeper and way more personal. This isn't just about our bank accounts. It's about our sense of worth. The real shock here is philosophical. You hear a lot of fear about AI making human creativity meaningless. But what if it's doing the opposite? What if it's just exposing the fact that a lot of what we called creativity was kind of just following a formula? When a machine can spit out a perfect song or a novel in minutes, human value has to evolve. It stops being about what you can create, and it becomes all about why. You know, people aren't just afraid of losing their jobs. Deep down, they're afraid of becoming irrelevant. For centuries, our value as humans has been tied to what we can do, what we produce. So when a machine can do all of it faster and maybe even better, we're forced to face this really terrifying question. What are we even here for?
This is it. This is the central question that's waiting for all of us on the other side of the AI hype. And it's a question our society is completely, totally unprepared to answer. What is our function when all of our functions can be automated? Okay, so let's bring this all home, because the real revolution, the one that's actually coming, isn't going to be loud and explosive. It's going to be subtle. and it's going to happen after everyone else has stopped paying attention. You know, all the truly world-changing technologies follow this exact same path. They start out as a loud, hyped-up novelty. Then they become quiet, boring, essential infrastructure, like electricity. And finally, they become so integrated into our lives that they're basically invisible, like plumbing. We're just at the very beginning of AI's journey from novelty to infrastructure. The real changes, they haven't even started yet.
So, in the end, the biggest shift isn't going to be in our phones or our computers. It's going to be in us. AI is forcing us to completely redefine what it means to be human in a world where our intelligence is no longer our most unique feature. The next great frontier isn't technology. It's our own consciousness, our purpose, and our search for meaning. So, the next time you see some headline about the AI bubble popping, just remember this. The real story isn't the pop. It's the silence that comes after. It's what happens when the investors get bored and move on, when the hype finally fades, and this technology just sits there, humming quietly in the background, reshaping our entire world while we're not even watching. That's the quiet shock.